Hi, I'm Walker. This is Dance Walker Tarot. This is a random specific for somewhere. Where? Hold on. Let's see where that goes. Somewhere where? Let me just say the worst is over. We're beyond betrayal at this point, and it's to the comprehension, the understanding, the seeing things clearly. Maybe for the first time, after several lifetimes of going through the same cycle. I don't know. I wish my hands were bigger, y'all. Cards. South Carolina, Palmetto State. So a number relevant could be 32 or 3,000. And Colombia, Civil War, King Charles, let's see. Peaches, tobacco, and cotton. Oof. Okay. Shudder. If it's not very broadly that you've been dealing with a family or an industry or a corporation that has a very dark history that you're realizing you don't want to be a part of, that you're realizing it's actually holding you back from your abundance, it gets a little more personal and a little darker from here. So this is an adult reading. 18 or over, please. Don't have kids around. I had to get myself some tea. I had to get myself some coffee. Smoke a little. Whoever you are, did I say this? You have air and earth in your chart. I think that this is an Aquarius reading, maybe because it's Aquarius turn, but this isn't general. I'm going to get into some dark occult practices. And the reason why I know about these things is because in a past life, but long time ago, when I was very young and naive, I was kidnapped and brought into one of those families. So if we're talking about family here, you're like one of those families. Well, if it's not you, it's someone you're dealing with. And it's someone that you've walked away from, that you have kind of made it out, maybe with only the shirt on your back. But it's for the best, because you have your peace of mind. Your mind is still intact. Your body's still intact. And as of now, your bank account is still intact. And we're going to talk about making sure that it stays that way. There's an MO here, where you felt like you were a part of something. This is how it works. For some of you, maybe if it's not a love bombing in a relationship, where you were perfect, you were beautiful, they love you so much, everything's perfect, wonderful, presents, gifts, you're my queen, you're my king, whatever at first. Maybe literally you married into royalty. That's how I see this. And if you disagree, that's your prerogative. I don't need anyone arguing with me about my personal experience, but the way that I see some of these royal families, it's much more like Midsummer, the movie, than it is The Crown. Honestly. It's very dark. I think some of the things that Princess Diana was trying to allude to, I could very much relate to, and maybe you can too. And if it's not that you are in a situation where you're dating someone, or you got away from someone who is in a very high position like that, or in an Illuminati family, is what I just don't know how else to say that. Kind of a low-key Satanist. It could be, they could call themselves, Zionists, or it's the higher ups of all these religions, they're all run by men. That's a clue. If you're like, wow, that's a broad statement. No, it's actually very pointed and clear. So if it's someone coming out unscathed of a cult, this might be for you. Or if it was a relationship where they were part of that kind of family and you are feeling like you were some sort of a sacrificial lamb here, like you were about to be crucified. I don't know why I'm using that. I don't want to be blasphemous. I would love to be as respectful to Jesus as I can here. So I don't want to use that term broadly. I want to use it as a term that the cultists would use. Okay, so these aren't my terms and this isn't the way I live. This is what I've observed. This is what I escaped from in a past life, so I can kind of... It's so far removed that I feel like I can talk about it now without being totally triggered. But there's some dark stuff here. And its surface level is beautiful. The surface level is abundance. It's prestige, you know, affluence, that sort of thing. But underneath it's the devil. It is sacrifice. It's literal sacrifice. Hold on, let me get something. Why do I... Okay. It could even be your own family doing this to you, and it's because deep down inside they know that your soul comes from a different place, that they're not your soul family. It's like you were born into a family to help elevate them or change them or break generational curses, and they wanted to stay the same. They feel like that's an attack. That would be an attack on their riches. It's that base and it's that cruel. For some of you, if that's what you were kind of born into... Hold on, what was that? Getting little clicks and stuff over here. Sorry, I had to walk away there for a second. Okay, maybe it was a little triggering. Just know that the worst is over and it's all going to fall apart. It's almost like who I'm talking to. I don't usually say this stuff, but you are a guardian angel in human form. And the people that are trying to sacrifice you, use you as a sacrifice, and they are, I mean they did. Because you right now with Four of Swords coming out of the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords, if you don't know about symbolism or tarot, it means that you've come through betrayal, heartbreak, loneliness, an effort by many people coming together to cause you grief. Or if it's not that, it's a literal heartbreak love triangle where you realize you might not have even been a part of it, and it's like you were brought in as like something to sacrifice for whatever they were into. It could just be as base as their MO is to swoop in, seduce someone who has a very firm foundation or has built or is building a life for themselves. If you don't have the riches yet, you're getting there. You're a master tradesman. You know how to be hardworking and dedicated. You understand that sacrifice means hard work and dedication, time and effort, repetition. Okay, it's not taking someone else's life force that they have no business taking, whether it's a human or a chicken, killing it in the name of whatever little spirit, deity, aka jinn, demonic entities, are helping them along their path. And it's the snake eating their own tail. You know, they're convinced that it's the way. And if it's not, that's what you're dealing with, and you were born into one of those families, and there's weird rituals, and there's weird temples, and there's weird basements, and there's men in robes. And you were very young, and you were very naive. And they're trying to this is for someone, they're trying to give you a name that you're not born with. They're trying to give you another name or something, or say that you represent this person or god or goddess in this. It's not because they want to elevate you and put you on the throne. Even if you're the one that's been the hard worker in the family, and you're the one that's beloved, and they give you everything, and they love you so much. It's like, for someone, you're like the baby of the family. And here's how this works. I'm going to tell you right now. The old God of the Bible, you think he changed his mind? You think that old demon changed his mind, that old dragon? About the sacrifices he wants from those that he elevates? And if you're like, wait, I thought you weren't into religion, and I'm not. I'm talking about those who know how to manipulate you and your mind and matter. And it's not so hard. But they get people to do their dirty work. They don't have to raise a finger. Okay. So these families, they still abide by those old rules. The sacrifice of their own family. If it's not that they're trading one daughter for another. And I'm going to leave it there. It's the MK Ultra mind control. Where if you're not, with us, you're against us. And they mind control their own children and the people around them. And that's what it's all about. And it goes back to, the old pharaohs of the demonic attitude that you can own people. That people belong to you. They want to keep it that way. And your mind is free. You are free. You represent freedom. Everything that you represent is scaring the shit out of the people around you who are hoping to get... For some of you, for one of you, it's that you're coming out of an addiction. Did I say this yet? The oldest son, they give to the family. The oldest son needs to work, right? Like the devil will give you the oldest son so that he can work, so that he can get his cut and take it all from you at the end, really, when it comes down to it. Make you do all the hard work and take it from you at the very last second when you think you've won. That's what's happening to these people who tried to set you up, who tried to make you a sacrifice. Second son is theirs. The second son is the sacrifice. The first daughter is the sacrifice, and the second son is the sacrifice. So if you were born into one of those families and you've been elevated your entire life and you think that it's like the world revolves around you, you run the family, you're the king of the family, but you know they're into this stuff, watch out, you're the one. Watch out, you're the one. And if you feel like the buzzard, if this is your family and you feel like the buzzards are flying around right now, watch out. Oh, God, I just knocked over my coffee. Oh, it didn't knock over. Oh, I wish you could see this. Oh, my God. Oh. Divine intervention. I wish I could have showed you all this. My little coffee cup full of coffee there. I just knocked it over with my elbow, but it landed like that. So it didn't spill anything. Everything they were trying to do to you, you're waking up from at the last minute. And I mentioned addiction because they keep you, if they can't keep you under mind control yourself because your mind is too strong, or physically your body's too strong, you're getting stronger now. That's a threat to them. You're coming out of addiction, that's a threat to them. It's like, I'm going to use John Lennon as an example because everyone knows who John Lennon is from the Beatles. I read lots of books about him. He was a controversial figure. I'm not saying that he was a saint or he was an angel, but he was a messenger of truth. He was a light bringer in his own way, even though he was kind of a piece of shit when he was young. And he was always addicted. He was always drinking. He was always on drugs. Always, always. And he had handlers in his life in the form of lovers here and there, if you ask me. I don't want to get into that. Who were more into that group than he was. It's like he was inducted into it, maybe, but he would only ever be working class to them and something to be controlled. It wasn't until he was in, I think, his 40s. Correct me if I'm wrong. I suck with numbers and time. But it wasn't until he really got clean and decided to be a good fucking father and a good fucking person to the people in his own life, and he got clean from heroin. That is not something that's easy to do. So watch out. If they know you're coming clean from this and they know you're about to hold clarity and really be able to tell the truth, and especially if you were in the business or if you were in the family and you've had a behind the scenes look at that underbelly. And I'm leaving it vague. That Three of Swords there. There's a murder, there's sacrifice, and there's worse. And there's worse. There's industry. Ooh. Black market. If this is a dirty, pretty thing situation we're talking about. Black market organ. We're talking about slavery. We're talking about those little pills that K-pop band got caught with crossing the border that turned out to be powdered babies in pill form. I warned you not to have kids in the room. I was not kidding. If I have to do a sign-in, if you think I should do a sign-in below, go ahead and do that. Comment, because this is really dark. Maybe you didn't know that you were a part of that, and you're starting to see, and your clarity was a threat. I'm saying was, because you have, at the last second, kind of, in a way of a miracle, a message, a miracle, a messenger, like a little bird, I don't know. You see someone for who they are, who was watching you or filling your head with nonsense, and it's like a little reptilian eye there. They're in a frequency that people were supposed to have evolved way past, of greed, of murder, of cannibalism. It's one thing if a little alligator eats another little alligator. It's a whole nother thing if a spiritually evolved human being eats another human being. You got out unscathed. I hope it wasn't going to come to that. I hope that this is metaphorical. But for someone, this might be a very specific message. It might be that little bird. Okay, let me talk about these cards here. So, a clue that I'm talking about you or your family, it's unnecessarily being cruel to you. It's because they had a plan and it didn't work. That's why they hate you. That's why. Your little words are hard and cold. You tried to use them as a sling, as David did to slay the bold Goliath, but they only sting. So, if this is maybe for several people, if someone, and please forgive me, if you were born into a religious family, know that there is beauty and truth in every religion, but it's been covered by the matrix. It's been taken over. It's been infiltrated. There's been an alien invasion into spirituality, and nothing is sacred anymore, and nothing is true. But at the core, why so many people still fall into that trap is because it takes something that is true and beautiful and pure, and it corrupts it, and it turns it on its head. It changes a few words here and there. So maybe, I don't know, this is for somebody, but you are dealing with everyone being anti-Semitic right now, and it's really messed up, and it's not okay. And it's not okay. The devil never tells the whole story, does he? Never. So these people could have just literally been racist against you. If it's not that this is your own family that you're a part of, and you were married into it, kind of like I was in a past life. Well, I wasn't married, and I was kidnapped as a child, probably 3-4 years old. I didn't even know my name. I didn't even know my name. I didn't have a name. I probably did. I just never knew it. But you don't know that these horrible, cruel things exist, even when it's right in front of you, because you can't comprehend it. So it's almost like whoever you are a very kind, loving person, like I was saying. You came here to bring the light and shine the light, and you might not be perfect. And you might be coming out of an addiction right now, and that was the threat. If you shut up truth and bury it under the ground, it will but grow and gather to itself such explosive power that the day it bursts through, it will blow up everything in its way. They were trying to shut you up. You are the truth. The environment here right now. And youth is cruel, and it has no remorse, and smiles at situations which it cannot see. I smile, of course, and go on drinking tea. Okay? With the 7 of Pentacles. What's done is done. You can't change that they chose that path. You can't change that they took that, I want to say, wicked advice, that they left the beautiful, true, pure part of the tradition or the culture, and they embraced the demonic overlay and saw that you were separate, saw that you were different, saw that you could not be bought, saw that you could not be sold, or they were literally just racist, and they were literally like, you are the Princess Diana in the situation where they they need native blood, or they'll float away. They need to stay more natural when they are unnatural, a relic. And I'm sorry if that hurts someone's feelings. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The New Testament. So it's maybe right now you're just kind of wrapping your head around it. And if you haven't got out of this situation yet, I feel like you have. Because the outcome here is the King of Pentacles with the Emperor. That's you. You on your throne. You in your power. You with your security secured. Look at this. What's done we partly may compute, but know not what's resisted. They didn't know who they were coming up against. They thought it would be easy. They thought it would be quick. Even though they were working little by little, they were working for somebody else. So, if you were born into a family who is part of that relic line, playing God is not okay. They were trying to play God with you or the world. And if this is a micro of the macro, you represent kind of the higher courts here, and you had to come in and, be that immovable object with their seemingly unstoppable force. Or so they think. So, this is the kind of family where they get in an outsider so that they can, I'm just going to say this, so they can kind of breed without having too many genetic problems. If they had their way, that's all they would do. So if you were a person and you were with someone and it seemed like they were really just always with their family and their whole family looked at you crazy and they practiced this stuff and you're seeing men in hoods and there's weird temples and, chanting and blood and all of that, and they have relationships with each other. They don't really have relationships with other people. They will use you as a vessel. Okay? So if this is just something you're seeing, but you got out unscathed, I think you did. Congratulations, you got out with your life, with your mind, with your body and your soul. And I can't say the same for them. And there's nothing you can do about it. They chose that dark master. Okay? So, why are they acting this way towards you if this is just a kind of a beginning of a light bulb confirmation? There you go. A picture says 1,000 words, right? I'm getting out of the car and dropping you like third period French. So if this is a clue for someone very specific, it's like they dropped you out of the car somewhere, maybe on the side of the road on a freeway, or like in the middle of nowhere in the desert, and you are like, wow, they're having a breakdown moment. No, they were trying to kill you. They were hoping you would succumb to the elements. They were hoping someone would rob you or hit you or run over you. So they said something cruel to you and then put you in a position where you were like, didn't you know I could die? Oh yeah, you bet your ass they did. That's what they were hoping for. But you were protected. That plot came tumbling down. And it's going to be traumatic for them when they realize what they've done. Because I don't think they have. And their life is about to crumble beneath them. The tower, it's not just the fool that falls out of the tower. It's also the ones that are too smart for their own good. I did that in my little tarot deck. But they're too smart for their own good. They thought they were smarter than you. And they're in deep regret right now. Not because they did it, but because they were caught. Later will come that full, deep core regret that they did it. But right now, it's just that they haven't gotten away with it. So this is, you being John Lennon, seeing that you're about to be set up to be murdered by those who can't control you anymore. So if there's someone who is a friend, if it's not a family, if it's not a cult, if it's not a troop or a group, it's a best friend who's been supplying you alcohol, supplying you drugs, supplying you pills. It's in their best interest to keep you medicated, drooling in the wall, at the wall in the corner, or producing. Produce, then put you down at night. Give you something to wind you up and then put you down at night. Like that might not even have been your girlfriend or your boyfriend. That might have been your handler. And suddenly they show up and they're everything to you. But they're part of that group. Oh my God, it happened again. So they've tried 1, 2, 3. They've tried 7 times to get you out of the picture, to knock you down, to hold you back, to take what's yours, to kill you, to sacrifice you. And here you are alive with the 4 of Swords. And it's almost like they've done it so many times that you realize they're not even in control of themselves. Maybe they're not even in control of themselves. Because once you choose that road, you open yourself up to demonic possession. That's real. That's not a thing that's not real. That's real. So it starts with this little black magic stuff. And you invite these jinn that are not allowed to have bodies, basically. They have forfeited their right to exist where they can affect other people. So there's these realms that are kind of created by these dark ones to feed off innocents that have not awakened yet, or who have allowed themselves to be some sort of a puppet or a vessel, like I was before I knew what that was. I did break away, by the way. But sometimes you have to leave everything you love or everything you've ever known. And I think you had to do that, and it was very scary for you. But you understand now. It's like it happened so much. They did so much to you that it's like, what else can you do to me? Like you kidnapped me, you enslaved me, like you sold me into slavery. They tried to make you like some sort of a genie in a bottle. And what that looks like spiritually, if you're unsure, it's like being a spirit stuck in this little, almost white, octagon hamster wheel. And you can't get out, and there's no way out. And it's the most horrifying thing. And it's an abomination. That's what it's. These people are doing things that are an abomination, right? And they either tried to get you involved or tried to sacrifice you, and you came to. It's like they tried to kill you in a situation where you had a near-death experience, where you were fighting for your life. And it was like there was a guardian angel that was with you, a passed-on loved one that was like, don't lose consciousness, don't lose consciousness, don't lose consciousness. And you listened and you fought for it, and you're alive right now. And so if you are still deciding to quit that addiction or come out of some sort of a stupor, or where you are being kind of like I was back then, I was working so hard. I was doing so much. I had so many irons in the fire. I was trying to make everything fair for so many people. I wasn't paying attention to what was happening right in front of me, to me. I didn't know I was a child. But like looking back on it, I must have been up to his kneecaps when he first found me, from wherever I was from, which I still don't know, that I'm starting to kind of figure out. I'm going to keep that to myself for right now, but I'm sharing this because whoever you are, it's going to ring a bell. It's going to be confirmation. This isn't for everybody, and it isn't just for anybody. It's someone who has come into contact with either a family like that, a group like that, an industry that involves these entities and tactics in a negative way. So it's not everything is black and white when it does come to religion as far as what you believe and what you hold dear, but you need to understand that they all bow to the same entity at the top of that particular pyramid, which we all kind of have fallen into one way or another here. But you're awakening and you're shining the light for people. And so you just kind of have to be unbothered and unsurprised by it, with keeping your guard up, covering all your bases, maybe reconnecting with, if you had a mother or a family, if this is a family that you were born into or something, or an industry that you were born into, or these are all very patriarchal demonic cults. They're all demonic vampire cults at the very core of them. I'm sorry if you didn't know that, but they are. And they use the good people as the cover, the good people. But underneath is the sacrifice, and it's the same as it ever was. These men that think they're pharaohs and that they have children to sacrifice or to consume physically, sexually, emotionally, spiritually. It's all vampirism. They try to get you in these rituals where you are bound. So if they die, you die. They get reincarnated, you're still there. Their slave or their daughter that they can consume, or their son that they can sacrifice as the youngest one, and you think that they are honoring you up until the last minute and you never saw it coming? Maybe? It's like you were always the sacrifice. If you think, yes, I know these people, I'm used to it, I'm used to this family, I'm used to this tradition, it could be that you've always been the sacrifice. Every time y'all were born, and they've always kind of gotten together. If you're with like in a group and you think that they're all kind of talking about you, like they have meetings about you or something, and you find this out, that's a clue. You might have always been left out in the cold. You might always be the one that they wind up and then suck up the energy or the abundance that you earn, that you create. They let you build up a kingdom and then they take it from you, sacrifice you, and then build a statue to you. Or, cut you into a million pieces and then just tell everyone you've left. Like they did me, right? I don't want to go there. But this is about murder. This is about sacrifice. And this is about you at the last second. Saved by the bell. Either getting that message where you realize almost too late, oh my God, they're trying to sacrifice me, and they've been doing it over and over and over again, and you no longer accept that for yourself, no matter who you have to cut out of your life to do it. Because this was unjust. It was not fair. They might have even made you feel like it's fair, or this is what we do. It's we do this so we can have this. No. You do this so they can have that and then get rid of you when it's convenient. Gold, they're gold. The mice love the cheese. It's all about what they can get out of you, and when they can't anymore, they'll try to defame you. They will try to take away your sense of compassion for yourself. Self-harm. Hand you the rope you'll hang yourself with. No. Black magic. And oh boy, here comes Mr. Wonderful. So they would send someone into your life to pretend like a soulmate, to seduce you, just to tear you down, just to become abusive, just to take away your confidence. But they couldn't do it. I mean, maybe they succeeded for a little while. What you weren't seeing now, what was an illusion that you're seeing now? Bunny duck with the King of Diamonds. So that could be a clue for someone. I'll keep it vague. There's a symbolism there. Which do you see first? Rabbit ears or duck's beak? So, with rabbit ears, it could be that whole Alice in Wonderland programming. You follow the right rabbit. The Disney programming. If that sounds familiar, I'm going to leave it there. Fight for it. Fight for it. Don't be so brokenhearted that you allow them to serve you something that kills you. I saw this in a movie once. They're almost trying to cast you in the role of someone that you're not. They're playing a part. It's a play. It's a game. And you're no longer willing to be part of that game. Do not accept food from them. Do not accept drinks from them. You make your own food. You make your own drinks. Even if you don't have time, you make time. You get your own mail. You order your own special water. You are not drinking anymore, or you are quitting drugs. And if that's a problem for someone, you see who starts to act out. You see who starts to turn into some kind of a mindless zombie when you're no longer following the script or the programming. And if they separated you from a divine feminine in your life, whether it's the mother of your child or your actual mother, it's like if you are a child who was put to work early, like a Miley Cyrus type or something, it's like they either killed your mother so that you had no relationship and it's just coming back in to a spiritual connection with your soul family or your soul mother, Mother Mary in heaven, or it's that they alienated you. If you were married into this family, they completely alienated you from who you were or who you came from. They were so racist that they made you feel bad for your own heritage. There's a total brainwashing, mind manipulation MO here. But you've seen through it. You've seen through it. Right now with the Four of Swords, this is about you resting, contemplating, praying. Stay prayed up. You can leave a religion and keep everything that is good and pure, that connects you to everything beyond time and space, your higher power. They put their stamp on it. That doesn't mean they can take it away from you or that they own it, or because they corrupted it, or even you for a while. Don't force it. This is divine timing here. But if there was a matriarch or someone who they made you look down on, that you feel in your heart you should reconnect with them. Which building appears to have the thicker columns? They are actually the same. It's these people use mind control. They use illusions. They use a projected programming. So if this is you and you are in that, you've been compartmentalized. There's the this you, there's the that you, and there's the this one that maybe doesn't get acknowledged. I don't know, this isn't for everybody, but it's you calling back all your soul fragments, all the pieces of light that were stolen from you or tried to be siphoned from you. Call it back, but don't force it. It didn't happen overnight. And you won't be made whole overnight. But it's a realization. And if this is happening this week, and it feels like this is building up to something, there might be something that happens where the rug is swept out from under you. Don't lose consciousness. Don't lose consciousness. The plank check. They want you stiff as a board. If they play with magic, stay away. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. It could start as something as simple and innocent as that and end up in actual sacrifice, murder, cannibalism, and worse. And if I scared you with anything that I shared with my past life, this probably isn't the channel for you. But this isn't just about you knowing the truth. It's about you coming out on top. On your throne with the King of Pentacles here. The master of your domain. You make justice happen just by existing. You enforce the laws here. You set up boundaries. So if that hasn't happened yet, it's boundary time. You build a castle around yourself in a moat, and you put all the little electric eels, alligators in there because they might want to come in now that you know with some lies, more deceit. No, they can't. It's too late. It's too late for them. You are no longer willing to be a sacrifice. And if this is something that they were setting you up for, now you know. Now you know. And if you do have children, they were doing magic on your children. They were trying to come at you at every angle. They tried to turn your children against you, or they turned you against a parent that you need to reunite with. You will get justice for your heart. It's like they made an entire joke out of your heart. I am so sorry. Your heart is not a joke. Your sexuality is not a joke. Your sensuality is sacred. And there will be divine justice for you. There's the chariot twice. The devil thought he was in control, or this wickedness thought that they were in control. Or if there was, like I was saying, some sort of an addiction, and it could have been an addiction to a person, a relationship where you were always ending up the one left out in the cold, left out to dry, the one with nothing. No more. This is everything righting itself. This is justice being done. This is the truth coming out, not just for you, but for everybody else, for society. But we're not there yet. In this reading, you just barely made it out alive. They tried to spill your blood and they failed. They tried to set you up as someone you're not. You don't have to do anything but just see it for what it is. Don't force it. If it hasn't happened yet, and this is a holiday time, you're going to excuse yourself from all holiday festivities this year. Without explaining it, you don't owe anyone an explanation. This is about you resting and breathing and realizing after this near-death experience, which could be an entire lifetime, your feet are on the ground now. Your feet are on the ground now. Okay, what to do, what not to do. With what to do there, we already have the Four of Swords. So to be very specific, this is about seclusion and meditation. This is about staying closed off to anyone trying to influence your mind. Okay? So nobody's opinions matter right now. Nobody's ideas for you in your life matter right now. No steering you in the wrong direction. No nudging you in harm's way. Okay? What to do with the Four of Swords here. Yeah, protect your inner child. There's death again. Seven of Pentacles again. Wow, that's 3 times. So planning, reflection, progress. They think they're making progress. Keep it quiet if you know. Just keep yourself separate. Don't explain it. Disappear. Disappear without explanation. Disappear off social media. Don't worry about loss. Don't worry about revenue. Worry about protecting what is still pure, what they couldn't corrupt. That is your strength. Your innocence and your purity is your strength. So don't try to snap back or match that energy. It's a whole beast there. It's a whole beast. It's a whole, like, in the etheric realm, it's like this giant tick octopus thing that just absorbs souls and energies. And they're just tentacles at this point. They're not even sovereign beings anymore. That's the thing. That's the trick. The devil will trick them into thinking that it's like the Hellraiser movie, which I love because it's a box. Don't touch that box. And let alone work it out and try to kind of unleash demons on the world. I don't want any spoilers on a 40-year movie or anything, but those demons will eventually grab the ones that brought them, that called them. They might have to reorient themselves like these. If you want to see the jinn, and I'm not trying to have any sympathy for the devils. I'm just saying, those that are truly in that realm will claim those that match that frequency. Even if they were sicked on you first, they'll say, wait a minute, we're not here for you. We're here for you. Or these 7 people. And you escape unscathed. But it's at the end of this horror movie almost, this betrayal. attempted murder, attempted sacrifice, a miracle at the last second, where you listen to a guardian angel. And there's no point in pretending like it doesn't hurt. It does. And it's hard not to have regrets, especially if you let it go too far. Earth sign with air in your chart. Sometimes you let it go too far when you know you need to leave. You might not be so great at leaving a situation when you know it's toxic, and now you know how. And now you'll see it for what it is. You will never, again, for the rest of your existence, not know it for what it is when you see it, like me. And that's why I'm so passionate about it when I start to talk about it. And that's why I don't have any patience for anyone who's still under the delusion that any of that leads to anything but slavery, degradation, and being stuck in a vortex that isn't yours. And your energy won't be yours anymore, and your mind won't be yours anymore. And choosing transhumanism, your body isn't yours anymore, and you become more and more of a puppet until you end up just being one of those little mechanical alien things, you know? They trick people into building bodies for them. So if this isn't that your group is into black magic, it's black technology. Things that, entire civilizations were wiped out for by the gods for playing with. So it's over. And you don't have to say anything again. You have no obligation to explain yourself. None whatsoever. This is a period of rest, seclusion, time alone, prayer, being humble. That there were guardian angels that were there for you at that last second. It might have been, oh God, I don't want to share this. This one's too much for me. Okay. When I was 18, like I talk about being a targeted individual, and I know that there are those who like to laugh at that and be like, okay, crackhead. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that there are not crackheads out there that think they're targeted, because they do too many drugs. That can also be true. This in my situation is that I have been for a very long time. When I was 18, this was after making it very clear to any and all groups that I will not be a part of them. And if anyone tells you that I am, they're lying. I'm alone. I work with no one. I'm with no one. I am so fucking alone, even in my own family. There's nobody that claims me, and I claim no one. Okay, so, but when you're born into something, or when you've been used for something in a past life, especially if they knew they could mind control you or something, they're going to use that, especially if you came from generations of those who had been enslaved. There's that generational trauma where it's not that, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. In some cases, us human beings, we didn't evolve to be traumatized. We didn't evolve to deal with murder, rape, cannibalism, child molestation. We didn't. It's not right. It's not for us. It's an abomination. Even war itself, that's why it causes post-traumatic stress disorder. Because it's not for us. That was imposed on us. That's not human culture. But time after time after time, people can become this moldable, mindless robot. Not you. Not this one. And this time it's putting a stop to everything, and you're shutting an entire operation down here. But we're not going to look at that. We're not going to look at this big picture because it's too much. Oh, let me tell you this. Okay. So after I made it very clear, I was about 16 years old, that I wouldn't have anything to do with anything. Right? Really bad things started happening. And, as someone who was very evil, who was a handler that I thought was a friend, showed up in my life, who was doing black magic on me, and I had no idea even what that was, and I was so innocent, and I was so naive. I mean, it was like just in the last 10 years that I realized what he was doing when I caught him, chanting over me in my sleep one night. Yeah, gross. So, anyway, I was 18 years old, and I was fine. I had left that person who I think was assigned to me as a handler who was doing black magic on me, and I was with someone who kind of, he wasn't my soulmate or anything, but he popped me out of that vortex where I could see clearly. I could see I was being manipulated. And I am not kidding you guys, I went from okay one day, totally fine, totally strong, to waking up in the middle of the night, going into convulsions and dying. From okay to dying. Out of nowhere. He put me, he threw me on his back and got me to the ER, and it was like one of those scenes in a movie that never happens in real life. If you go to the hospital, they don't give a shit. They give you a number, they sit you down. It was like a movie. Everyone that saw me jumped up. Everyone jumped up because I was dying, and they could see that. I was going into convulsions, and I just remember thinking, don't lose consciousness. It was a voice, don't lose consciousness, don't lose consciousness. Right? And then there was this other kind of like little dark voice that was like, no, lose consciousness, let us in, let us in. So you need to know that like the demonic entities try to find loopholes in existence to get in, which is, if you've heard of like a walk-in, I think that's what happens. It's like a near-death experience where the person's soul is almost gone, and it allows, it's almost like a permission. I swear to God, I could have, in that moment, said, okay, this is too painful. The most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. The most physically painful thing. Dying is painful. Going into convulsions and dying is painful. Turns out I was missing a whole bunch of blood, and I had to get a massive blood transfusion. With no sign of where it went. No sign. No clue. They didn't know. I didn't know. I have a very rare blood type, by the way. The nurse was able to, I guess there was just only one guy in the whole town that had that blood type. So she's like, all right, here's blah, 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 And I never lost consciousness. And I think I saved myself from something really scary and really dark that day. And it told me everything I needed to know about what happens when you say no. They'll take what they want anyway, but they can't take your soul. And they can't buy it unless you sell it. And whoever you are, you weren't selling. So, this should be only confirmation here. Don't force anything. Don't match anyone's energy. Don't accept any invitations. I'm serious. Even if it's your family. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm isolating you from anyone who's good for you. I am trying to help you put up those boundaries that you already know now need to exist between you and this group, this troop, this family. I mean, this might be a Dave Chappelle go to Africa moment for you. And if that's it, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the long term. Worry about your rest. Being alone. Being humble. That you were there in that moment to connect with the guardian angel that got you through it or told you something you needed to hear. In a very scary moment, in a very painful moment, where there was a bunch of people around you almost going, if you're like, well, what do you think? I think they took my blood and left me for dead in the middle of the night. I think they have their ways of doing that. Okay? And if you don't know that secret societies do that and come and go when they want, oh, let me tell you, there is no privacy. There is nothing sacred. They have no respect. The ends justify the means. Alien programming. Projected abductions. Where it's some alien thing that's the bad guy and the men that are, behind it are never held accountable. And this black market goes on. No more. Something about this, something about you. It's all being shut down, but don't worry about that now. Make sure that you retain all of your rights. If you're a creator, content creator, singer, actor, I don't know, CEO, make sure that if you feel a hostile takeover coming, you give yourself time to rest before you react. You're not going to react in anger. Never again are you ever going to do anything out of anger. Whether it's react with violence, whether it's self-harm, or whether it's retreat into your mind like they want, or addiction. No more. No more. What not to do, for sure. Ooh, gosh, yeah, see? It's like so heartbreaking. It's so hurtful, especially when it's someone that you thought loved you, that they would be working. It's like people that you knew are your enemies, you find out are working with those that you thought loved you. And it's so heartbreaking that you almost want to be like, okay, fine, kill me. Why would I want to live in a world like this anyway? Why would I want to live in a world where my family would do that to me, or my friends, or someone? No. That's what they want. Get away from it. Rest. Vacation. Spa. Retreat. If you feel like bolting, bolt. Listen to your ancestors. Listen to your intuition. If this hasn't already happened, but I think it is. I think it is either happening right now and you have come out alive and you can breathe, or this is this week. And just remember, stay meditated. Not medicated. Meditated. I don't know why I had to say that. Don't stay medicated, stay meditated. And wait for that moment where they're going to want you to lose consciousness. Don't do it. They can't hurt you. They can't take what's yours. They are vampires. You have to invite them in. So if there's any way in which you have allowed access to you, your soul, or your abundance, it's cut off now. No questions asked. No shame, no guilt, no self-harm. No succumbing to grief over the betrayal, although it hurts more than anything else. This is yours. You come out on top. That's their surprise. This is what they get. That's what they get. They're never going to understand what they've done until it all comes crashing down. It had to come crashing down. They had to understand. And if you warned them, I think you did. If you warned them, you did what you came here to do. If you are a light bringer and you find yourself in extremely dangerous circumstances, know that you did your job, and now you can look out for yourself. No more making it fair for everyone else. Watch out for yourself. Watch out for your finances. Change your locks. Change your access codes. Disappear. Leave a note, maybe. Just say, hey, I'm getting off social media. Erase it all. You owe no one an explanation. Your location, your dreams. And if this is all just happening and you have to say this out loud. My mind is my own. My body is my own. My soul is my own. My energy is my own. My willpower is my own. My womb is my own. My abundance is my own. My fortune is my own. My luck is my own. My dreams are my own. No weapons formed against you shall prosper. And when it's right, it's right. The Bible. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They're choosing illusions, delusions. They tried to make you a sacrifice, and maybe in the past you accepted it. Maybe you thought it was inevitable. Maybe you didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. No more. It's over. They can't do anything to you they haven't already done. And you're stronger than they have any idea. And you're the smartest one in the room. But you can't outsmart evil. You can only outlove it. So it's time to love yourself. You choose justice for yourself. You choose peace for yourself. And justice and peace will choose you. And you're going to want to not look. Because sometimes the higher power, the higher courts of law, justice is hard to see, especially if you still have feelings for them in your heart. Don't look. Move away. Get far enough away that you can't even see. because that might break your heart even more right now. And what you need to do is focus on you, landing on your feet, coming out in one piece with your mind and your body and your soul intact. And like I said, it might be everybody else in your life, seemingly. Who takes that other road, and you take the road less traveled. You had the courage to do it. You chose truth over popularity. You chose honor over greed. And they didn't. And they won't. So congratulations. Big hug to you from me. Big hug to you from me. You're not alone. And if you are dealing with this stuff, know that it goes way back. And you might not be like, okay, in your heart and your mind overnight. But you will get there. Baby steps. Like I said, watch out for the red flags. And even if this is the first year where you say, sorry, I can't make it for these meetings, festivities. Sorry, I'm not going to renew my contract. Sorry, I'm not going to marry you. If you see there might be like that kind of family involved, where you're always going to be the outsider. It's because you are. You're not a part of it. You're not a part of that soul family. You're from a place of beauty and truth and honor. And they don't understand that. So, a clue right now, just day to day, if someone's being unusually cruel or defensive for no reason. Don't worry. Have no fear. You have the discipline and the self-reliance now to stand up for yourself and your soul and your body, even if maybe you couldn't before. And you come out on top, on your feet. You're going to hit the ground running. And you end up with stability. The exact opposite of what they wanted. What they tried to take from you is what you're going to end up with. Okay? Bottom line here. Nostalgia has no place now. Nostalgia has no place in your new life of peace. So if there are any new relationships that are in your life for a nostalgic reason, remember where you are. Remember where we are. If there's any details that are different, that make you scared, have no fear. Hold on to your memories. Hold on to your soul. You can't be bought and sold. That makes you a target. That made you a target. But you chose the right road. You chose to do the right thing. And here you are, mind, body, soul intact. What's really yours, they can never take away. It's only if you give, and you ain't giving anymore. You'll be no one's sacrifice. Ever again. Whew, that was a rough one. That was a rough one. Thank you guys for being here with me spiritually. Who's ever watching right now, I feel like a loving, kind of protective energy. So if that's you watching this, thank you for that. Thank you for being, one of the good ones. With eyes to see and ears to hear. It's always hard. It's never easy. The devil always looks like abundance. The devil always looks like the mansion on the hill. Or the most perfect, beautiful mate. That looks very different underneath, So no shame, no guilt. Only self-love allowed. Rest. Peace. Retreat. The exact opposite of what they wanted for you. The worst is over. Thank you for your service, whoever you are. You are beloved. Never forget that. I'm Walker. This is Dance Walker Tarot. And this is a random specific. For someone who's going to come out on top. With security, abundance. After ending this cycle that may have been going lifetime after lifetime, where you didn't realize you were the sacrifice until the last minute. So now's not the time to really speak out or tell your story or match their energy or react in anger. This is all about meditation and peace and sobriety, being austere and judgmental. Keep up those boundaries. Keep up those boundaries. It's the end of the cruelty and the betrayal. Don't try to understand why. Don't stick around to see their tower, to see their lives implode, explode. It's going to be too gruesome. Let it go. Move on. Rest. Let yourself sleep in. If you're like, I feel like I could sleep for a week. Sleep for a week. Eat your greens. Everything colorful. Drink lots of water. Cut out meat from your diet. Cut out anything from your life that is involved in cruelty. That's a karmic tie. It could be a lighter. It could be chapstick. You know, I'm working on that. So you've made yourself free. But it's a decision first. Protect yourself. Protect your abundance. With no shame, no guilt, and no regrets. Thanks for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.